Um, Good morning one more time. I think what we want to do today now is Keynesian transmission mechanism. And with Keynesian transmission mechanism, what we are going to do is I am going to show you how all the instruments that we did in lecture 5 transmit into the real economy. And remember, when we really talk about the real economy, ultimately we're talking about the output, which is Y. So therefore, let me just say output, you will just write Y most of the times. So how does it work? How does it work? We say when money supply increases, and then I'll just say when money supply increases, because now you will know that the only way government can increase money supply, well, not the only way, but according to the previous lecture, is what by reducing the repo rate or reducing the reserve requirement or buying the bonds. So now money supply increases. And if money supply increases, now it means we have more money into the system. So if we have more money into the system, therefore the interest rate is going to go down. It's going to go down. This arrow must face down like this. It's going to go down. And if the interest rate is down, now we've got more investments in terms of real investments. And then if the real investments are up, then we've got what? A lot of production. Total production is going up. Total production going up. Now we've got Y, which is this output. Output is going up. So now we can see that now that means the economy is growing. So remember, if money supply increases, this is the what we call expansionary monetary policy. So I'm just going to draw it here to show you, because we basically have two things here. One is money market. So let me draw the money market diagram. Money market diagram will look like this. And then this is the quantity of money, and this is the interest rate, and this is the origin. So money demand function goes this way. This is the money demand. And then money supply function goes this way. This is the money supply. So you can see where they intersect. They intersect here, and then they determine the interest rate, which is I naught. Now, let's look at investment. Investment is like this. And then this is the investment, and this is the interest rate, I. And then this is the investment curve. And then if the interest rate is here, like it's here determining the money market, therefore investment will be some line here, some this point here on the investment curve. Therefore investment will be what? Will be I1. That you can see there. Therefore, if the interest rate is interest rate not, interest rate 1, and then investment will be investment 1. So therefore it means what? It means what the central bank is doing is determining this investment in this one here, and this investment, but the central bank determines the interest rate in the money market, and then the level of investment will be determined by the level of interest rate, and then here. But we know that now this level of investment will determine the total expenditure, because remember, the total expenditure is like this. The total expenditure, which is aggregate demand, is like C plus I plus G plus net exports. So if you increase any of these four components here, you are increasing aggregate demand or increase the output. Now, let me draw the three of them and see if we can be able to understand them. The first one, you draw it like this. The second one, you draw it like this. The third one, you draw it like this. Now I want you to look at these Cartesian planes. The first one is money market. So now this is money market. Therefore, you have the interest rate on the axis and then money on the horizontal. And then investment, this one is investment. You have interest rate here and you've got investment here. Now, this one here, the last one is Keynesian model, which is the total expenditure model. So, or the 45-degree line. So you can draw that 45-degree line and then show that here expenditure is equals to output. Or you can just write 45-degree line. Therefore, this will be the total expenditure, and this will be what? This will be the output. Now you understand that. So let's get down to money market. So in the money market, this is what we see. You see, we have this as our money supply, and then we have this as our money demand. And then we have this as the investment curve, and then we have this as a total expenditure. C plus I plus G. Now, let's see the equilibrium. You see what happens is, this interest rate of I naught is determined by the intersection of money demand, money supply. But now if you take this interest rate from here, you will see that now when it gets here, it determines the level of investment, I1. So the investment that you see here is the one that we have here in the total expenditure. This is I1. Let me just add I1 so that you can see that it's the same investment that you determine here. Now, what is happening here is now in the economy, the output is Y1. So, what is happening here is now, suppose the government increases money supply. So, if government increases money supply, therefore, this money supply function must shift to the right. You can see now we shift it to the right to MS1. MS1. So, MS1, now the interest rate went down to I1. So, if interest rate goes down to I1, let's see. Now, here on the investment as well, you can see that interest rate went down. Therefore, now, investment would have increased. So now we say what? Money supply increased. That is this right what shift of money supply. And then interest rate went down. That is what we saw here when interest rate is going down. But investment is going up. That is the investment going up here to I2. So now if investment goes up to I2, therefore the total expenditure is going to increase. The total expenditure is actually this line here in the Keynesian model. So if it increases, it means it goes up. So let me shift it up like this. You see now it went up. Then if it went up like that, then you can see that now the new income is going to also increase to Y2. So now we have what? Y increasing as well. So now you can see that this is the very same equation that I started with. Because when I started, I showed you that when you increase money supply, interest rate is going to go down, investment is going to go up, total expenditure is going to go up, and then output is going to go up. So what I want you to go and do is, I want you to go and do the case for a decrease in money supply. And then you will see that everything is going to be opposite. But this is how I want you to do it. I want you to do it in the following way. I want you to start by drawing the equilibrium diagram and show that you've got your money market, you've got your investment curve, you've got your Keynesian model, which is the 45-degree line, and label them correctly to say this interest rate, this interest rate, this is money, this is investment, this is expenditure, and this is output. So what you do now, you start by drawing money supply and then money demand, and then investment curve, and then Keynesian model, which is the total expenditure model. Now this is your total expenditure. So start by showing me that the interest rate is here at I1, and then this one, investment is here at I1, and then the I1 that you will see here. You know, this total expenditure here is going to be C plus I1, which is this one here, plus G, plus net export. That's fine. So when you start doing this, now you will start by saying money supply decreases. So when money supply decreases, you start by shifting this money supply function to the left. And then you will see that when you shift to the left, now interest rate will go up when you look at interest excess. And then when interest rate goes up, you will see that investment now is going to be reduced here. And when investment is reduced here, you will see that the total expenditure here is going to come down here, it means decreasing, like coming down here. And then output will move from y1 to y2, which will be to the left of this one here. So I'm actually very happy that we are able to sort of finish these things on time. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go and revise these things. Revise, 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 and revise. And the more you revise these things, the more you do them many times, the more now you become to understand it. And don't forget that on the 27th of November, we have our first test, and which is going to basically end here, and then we will discuss about the second test when we are done with the first test. Guys, I want you to prepare. Don't wait until the last time. This module is very tricky. You really need to prepare and understand, know everything off by heart. So I would like to end the Keynesian transmission mechanism here, because I showed you how this one, change in money supply affects the real economy. So I want you to learn all these steps to say, when we move from change in money supply, we go to interest rate. When we move from interest rate, we go to investment. When we move from investment, we go to total expenditure, and then we get to the output, which is the real economy. And then if it's the opposite, so I want you to play around with this. Use decrease in money supply, increase in money supply. And then, play around with this one until you understand, relate them back to Keynesian model. And then in the next video, which is going to be video 7, I am going to give you the sort of scope for the test, which you already know, because it must be from lecture 1 to lecture 6, and then this is the end of lecture 6. Thank you very much.